Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Now this past week, the US FDA have just released an emergency use authorization for Moderna's vaccines. Before we get into this specific topic, I know many of you have been watching news regarding the Pfizer vaccine allergic report. Now the FDA is aware of these events and is now investigating these problems. Now for the most part, these injection reactions happens within 10 minutes after the injections, and I have several speculations, but I'll also keep an eye on the FDA's latest investigations, and I'll update you all as soon as I find out more on this topic. So today, let's look at the details of the Moderna's vaccines and how it compares to Pfizer's vaccines. Now, they are all mRNA vaccines, but they are a little bit different. So let's look at what are the differences. And I also have a small gift for you all today at the end of this video if you stay until the end. By the way, if you're new to the channel, I'm Dr. Han. I make science review content, update on the latest global health topic. I also like to share learning tips for students. If these are your interest topic, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you're already a subscriber and coming back for another week of COVID update, thank you very much. Now without further ado, let's go into the topic for today. So you'll find today's video somewhat similar to last week because the FDA released a 54 pages digest for Moderna's vaccines, data and all these. So it looked very similar to the Pfizer's vaccines. So if they are so similar, what are the differences? Well, let's look into today's talk, okay? Now again, this video is my summary and interpretations of publicly available scientific information, and this video does not serve as any intentions for diagnosis, treating, and prevention of any diseases, and I have no affiliations with any of the company I mentioned in my videos. So here are some of the background. So the same group of people, Vaccines and Related Biological Product Advisory Committee, met this past Thursday and released a 54 pages FDA briefing report. Now the Moderna vaccines received approval for emergency authorization use, EUA, on December 18th. The vote, it's 20 versus 0. Everyone agreed and 1 abstention. Now the abstention people or the persons believed it should only reserved for people with high risk, that contracting the COVID disease, and not for everyone over the 18 years of age. So that is why that person just didn't vote for or against for these vaccines. Now we'll look at some of the differences in efficacy as compared to the Pfizer's vaccines, some notable adverse events, notable rare adverse events, reported death, and some of the key differences between the two products. Alright, first, let's look at fact number 1. How protective is Moderna's vaccines? Now, looking at it side by side compared to Pfizer-BioNTech's vaccines, the first dose efficacies for Moderna actually is higher, up to 80%. But after second dose, those efficacies were very similar, 95% versus 94%. That's virtually very insignificant differences. Now one of the other difference between dosing is both vaccines require 2 doses. While the Pfizer's one, you take it 3 weeks after the first dose, the Moderna one, you take it 4 weeks or about 28 days. Now, notably, the chronic conditions such as diabetes and all these did not affect the effectiveness of the Moderna vaccines because many of the populations have these type of chronic illnesses. Fact number 2, how bad are the common side effects? Now, the Moderna vaccine actually have more reported common side effects than the Pfizer's vaccines. Here are again a list of these conditions, injection reactions, fatigue, headache, muscle pain, chill, joint pains, and fever. Notably, almost in all of those categories, the Moderna vaccines have a higher incidence of these reported common side effects than the Pfizer's vaccines. Something to keep in mind, especially joint pain, we're looking at 20% higher reported cases. So that would really become some uncomfort for many people that perhaps need to work. Okay, after Moderna vaccines, you may need to take a day off if that is that severe or that bothersome. Now, notably, the fever cases, it's about the same. So here are the comparisons. I won't read off these numbers to you. In general, that's just more side effect than the Pfizer's vaccines. Okay, keep a note on that. Fact number 3, what about the rare side effects? Okay, there were 7 severe adverse rare effects reported. Okay, the FDA considered 3 as related to the vaccines: 1 nausea and vomiting, 2 facial swellings. Okay, that is related to the vaccines. Now, 3 people in the vaccines group related a condition called Bell's palsy, so which is a temporary facial muscle weakness, and also 1 person in the placebo group also had that reactions. So what is Bell's palsy? Here is the picture showing you, okay, just one side of the muscle, have some droopy. Now, these conditions do require medical attention. So this resembles some other more serious conditions. If this happens, you need to let the doctor know about these things, okay? 1.1% also in the vaccines group reported swollen lymph nodes compared to 0.63% of the people in the placebo group. Now, the overall occurrence has a similar frequencies in the general population. That's why the FDA wasn't issuing a specific warning for these things. Fact number 4, how many people died in the trial? Okay, now noticeably 13 people were reported death, okay, as of early December. 6 in the vaccines group and 7 in the placebo group. Now, in the vaccines group, very similar to the Pfizer vaccines, most of the participants died from cardio attack issues, okay, heart attack and other things that related to that. Some of those were not as clear as to why they died, okay. So 1 reported suicide after first dose, okay. Noticeably, most of them are about 55 or 75 years old. In the placebo group, again, 3 died from heart attack, several others died from other complications, and 1 died from COVID-19 and 1 died from unknown causes. So also the FDA concluded that these occurrences have a similar frequency in the general populations that are not receiving the vaccines during that period of time. Alright, fact number 5, very quickly. What about vaccine stability and indications? Okay, so here are some of the differences. The Pfizer one, like I said in the last couple videos, it required ultra low temperature to storage. It was stable for 6 months. Now they are shipped in a thermal shippers, okay, specifically designed by Pfizer's, and it packed with dry ice. If people replace dry ice in these packages, it will every 5 days it will stay good for 30 days. This is specifically important for facilities that don't have a ultra low temperature freezers. In a refrigerator temperature, it will good for 5 days. This vaccine is indicated for 16 years old or older. In comparison to Moderna, the Moderna vaccines are much stable, okay? It can store at -20 degrees Celsius for 6 months. Pretty much that is a regular freezer's temperatures, okay? It will stay stable for 30 days under refrigerations and even for 12 hours in a room temperature. However, it is indicated for people that are 18 years old or older. So there is 2 differences here. Okay, the age is different. So very quickly, what is the take-home message this week? Okay, the Pfizer-BioNTech and the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine have very similar efficacy after the second dose. Okay, there is the similarity there. Moderna vaccines is easier to store and transport. Now the technologies are very similar. They both use mRNA. Okay, so I have also a link above and down. You can check out the technology and how it worked. Okay, but the lipid nanoparticle, okay, that encapsulates the messenger RNA are different between the 2 companies. Okay, I won't go into the very nitty-gritty details of those. Those are all proprietary technologies. Now, the Moderna vaccines have a higher rate of common side effects, so this is something that you need to keep in mind. Okay, all those muscle pains, joint pains, fatigue, they all have a higher frequencies for Moderna vaccines. Now, currently, for people that are between 16 and 17 years old, Pfizer vaccines seem to be the only options at this point for prevention of COVID. So here are the two links that I used to prepare today's video. The first one is a 54 pages report, okay, the briefing document that laid out all the side effects and efficacies in greater details. And the second one is the emergency use authorization letter just released on Friday night by the FDA. So I said in the beginning, I have a small gift for you all in here. It's the small gift, okay? It is a infographic to compare the differences between the Moderna vaccines and the Pfizer's vaccines at a glance, okay, at a glance. So you just need to follow the link in the description box down below and you can just save the picture, okay, as a JPEG on your phone, on your computer, or anywhere so that you can pull it out and take a look very easily. That is all for this week's COVID-19 update, and I'll see you again next Sunday, and I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe. Bye.